Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of your favorite talk show, Bahrain Now, with me, your host, Bara Abdallah. We've got a great show lined up full of local talents, initiatives, and happenings from around the island. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Well, ladies and gentlemen, October is the Breast Cancer Awareness Month, an aim to raise awareness and to shed light on the importance of early detection. We are honored to welcome Dr. Sara Arrivi in our studio tonight, consultant and breast oncoplastic surgeon, owner of London Breast Care Center in Bahrain. Well, good evening, doctor.
Good evening to you. Thank you so much. I'm very honored to be here.
Oh, well, again, definitely. It is so good to see you again, pretty much, in the month of October, a month that we want to do even more in raising the awareness. So what's been happening so far?
Yes, as you correctly mentioned, the October is the International Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So all around the globe, the whole world, let's say, turns pink, trying to remind women to do their mammograms and their breast screening on annual basis through a regular checkup. So in Bahrain as well, in the Kingdom of Bahrain, we have been every month of October throughout the years, we have been trying to launch different campaigns to try to remind the women to do their checks. Those who haven't done it throughout the year, try to remember during this month that it is time for the mammogram, or it's time for your ultrasound or a breast check to happen. And the point of this is to actually save lives. And how do we do that? Because early detection, if you detect breast cancer at an early stage, you're actually increasing the chances of cure rates, because the cure rates can reach up to 99% when it's caught early.
Wow.
So the whole idea really is to get as much women as possible to come up for a check. And that check this year might save her life.
Definitely, definitely. You've been doing this for like a real long time. Every month of October, you're pretty active. Everybody sees what you're doing. That's why I want to say thank you so much for doing this, really. So what have you noticed the changes in the campaigns in the last few years up until now?
Yes, we usually every year try to bring something new to attract more people to come and do their breast checks and to raise more awareness. And I would as well say that this is not an individual effort, it's a collaborative effort from all entities in Bahrain, NGOs and Bahrain Cancer Society, the Think Pink Charity Society, work together with the private health sector and the public health sector, along with different ministries as well involved in governance. For example, this campaign this year would be under the patronage of the capital government. So we would like to thank Mr. Sheikh Hisham bin Abdurrahman, who is the capital government and the head of the capital government, or the governor, for launching this campaign this year. So this year we are actually having a good support and a good backup. And as well, the Bahrain Entrepreneurship Organization, Mrs. Ferial Nas, who is the lead of the Bahrain Entrepreneurship Organization, is also contributing with the ladies of the society to try to increase awareness and help us through delivering those campaigns all through Bahrain.
Wow, a lot is going on. Definitely a lot of work, and big shout out and big thanks to everybody. Sincere gratitude is revealed to every member, small and big, for making this happen.
True, and again, it's very important to understand why breast cancer, if it's detected early, it is important. The stage that the breast cancer presents in differs. So like if you catch breast cancer at an early stage, stage 0 or stage 1, your chances of survival and cure rate, complete cure rate, where the cancer never comes back, never spreads elsewhere, and does not require chemotherapy or oncology treatment, if it's caught early or diagnosed at an early stage, is much higher than if you were to be diagnosed at a later stage, like say stage 4 or stage 3. So the aim of the awareness really is to bring women and pick up the cancers when they are before they form a lump, when they are just let's say, small calcifications on a mammogram picture. So you really catch it before it turns into a symptom.
Wow. Up until today, you know, with all the campaigns that takes place, not only in October, but even throughout the year, are certain people still afraid of taking the, I would say, the test itself, or the screening?
Not afraid, more like they worry about the results. Now, this is one thing that we've done at London Breast Care Centre, is that we've launched the One-Stop Breast Clinic. The One-Stop Breast Clinic, basically, what it does is that reassures women where they have their test and get their results at the very same day.
Right.
So a lot of people don't want to go through the hassle of making an appointment, waiting for their results, and that time frame from doing the test till your results are out can cause a lot of anxiety, not in the woman herself as well, but all around her family. So we'd say the husband will be worried for his wife, a mother would be worried for her daughter,
Right.
or a daughter or a son would be worried for his mother.
Right.
So given the factor of the anxiety and the worry that comes with the diagnosis of breast
Wow.
cancer, if you actually bring it closer to a very short time, which is within 24 hours or on the very same day, like what we do in the One-Stop Breast Clinic,
Amazing.
then that really can help women come forward
Right.
and do the check.
You're doing an amazing job. You know the psychological aspect of it and all of that. It's amazing. Now, with all that being said, if we're gonna summarize pretty much in a brief up, what triggers are we looking at here?
The main risk factors that come along with breast cancer would be any hormonal intake.
Okay.
So one of the things that women would be at higher risk if they take oral contraceptive pills, for example, for a period of more than 5 years.
Wow.
Or those who are postmenopausal and turn to HRT treatment, which is hormone replacement therapy, their risk as well is slightly higher. It's about 2.5 times higher than a normal woman. So hormonal factor is important. Another factor would be the genetic background. So
Okay.
if you happen to be born to a family where there has been cases of breast cancer, now you definitely can't change that because it's in your background. It's the family you were born into, so you can't really change it. But you can definitely check for any genetic, let's say, misplacement.
Interesting.
So, for example, the BRCA1 and the BRCA2 genes
Okay.
are associated with breast cancer. And nowadays you can test for those two genes through the saliva or through the blood, and then figure out whether you do have a defect in your genetic makeup. If you do have that genetic defect, then your risk of breast cancer becomes as high as 80%. And therefore, some women would come forward and prevent getting breast cancer by doing preventive surgery, for example. An example of that is what Angelina Jolie did, the
Right.
very famous actor, American actor. So Angelina Jolie had a family history of a maternal aunt who had breast cancer, a mother had breast cancer, and a grandmother. So she came up, did the test, and when she did the test, a lot of people in the community followed her footsteps since she's
Yeah.
a celebrity.
Yeah, pretty much.
So they all those who had a family history started knowing more about the test. This brings us to an important subject, since we're bringing this episode to
Right.
highlight the importance of early detection.
Okay.
Is that if you want to support the community and raise more awareness, it is important as well to get, let's say, well-followed figures, celebrity figures who come
Right.
and talk about the disease as well, or their
It
experience.
does help.
Unfortunately, a lot of people in our culture, they would hide when they have that disease. And this is what we want to break. This is sort of the culture that we want to come out from, so
Right.
that women would be more active and talk about their experience, as opposed to consider it
Okay.
as a taboo or something that I would not like to talk about.
Why do you think that? Why do you think some of them just want to stay in their own bubble and not get out of the shell or out of the closet? Is it like a cultural thing, like you said, or is it more to that as well?
I think the culture plays a role as well, and the habit of you don't want, for example, to feel weak as a woman. You don't want to feel like you're weak, or that you're not healthy, or you don't want to be excluded from social events, let's say. So a lot of people would have that sort of feeling of privacy when it comes to a matter of the breast as well. So.
Wow.
One of the reasons why I'm very happy as a surgeon, as a
Okay.
female surgeon, to come and offer such services is because I see that I've helped a lot more women to come and do the test, because many women would not, for example, like to be examined by a male surgeon.
Right.
So within our culture, within our religion, within our background, they prefer to come up to a female surgeon, have their checks, than to a male surgeon, because of the confidentiality or privacy of the situation or of the disease itself.
So I can say, on behalf of Bahrain, we are lucky and blessed to have you around, definitely, to make this happen.
Thank you.
One of the things I read, in the script itself, is that not only women get it,
Yeah.
even men.
True.
And I was like, wait a minute. I mean, we all know the whole thing with Think Pink, but even guys, I'm like, how? Why?
True. About 1 in 100 case of breast cancer would be a male. So 1 male for every 100 women who are diagnosed with breast cancer. This is the rate, the international statistics. In my practice, in my lifetime, I've treated about 7 men.
7?
Yeah, 7 Bahraini men with breast cancer. And the thing is, it's much easier and quicker to diagnose in a male than in women, because they naturally don't have a chest.
Right.
So should there be a lump, you'll pick it up quite easy. It will be very obvious. The sign and the symptom will be very obvious. So the man would come up to a doctor to test that lump once it has appeared. While in a woman's breast, for example, because of volume, then you might have a hidden lump somewhere that you're not aware of. So by the time the symptom or the lump starts showing, it's either too large, where the stage is upgraded.
Wow.
And that's why we do mammograms for women on regular basis, because we want to pick it up before the lump gets enlarged in size.
Right.
As opposed to, for example, the male. In a man with breast cancer, we do not do mammograms, or we do not bring them up for screening, because by the symptom, when it happens, it will be more clear and more obvious and easy to pick up than in a woman with breast cancer.
Now, pretty much all the studies are pretty much clear when it comes to the symptoms and the triggers for, I say, a woman. But are there certain triggers and why would a man get it?
Yes. Now, men who are born into a family history of breast cancer or prostate cancer can have a higher risk of developing breast cancer. So you might not have somebody in the family with breast cancer, but you might have a father or an uncle who had prostate cancer. That as well puts your risk for breast cancer slightly higher. Also, if, for example, if you go to the gym, you exercise and go to the gym and start taking some steroids injection for bodybuilding, something a lot of guys are into these days.
Yeah, we want to be puffed up.
You want to be puffed up, so you might get into the habit of taking steroid injections to get more muscle and more puffed up.
Volume here.
Volume. But that actually negatively affects your health, because steroids would be metabolized in your body into estrogen. So if you take a lot of steroids or cortisone, then you will have more estrogen in your body. And that estrogen creates what we call gynecomastia, which is a breast tissue in a male patient. But if this is the situation, then you can either correct it cosmetically just to look better, so you can fix it, or this can as well lead to men who have the breast tissue will have a higher risk of developing breast cancer in that breast tissue. So sometimes you can remove it as a form of preventing yourself from getting breast cancer in a male patient.
Like a lot of information. It's like learning a lot out of this talk. Really appreciate all the information, and I'm sure it's an eye-opener to a lot of people. Like you yourself treated 7 men. So there's a lot going on here. I mean, now it's not only, it's for everybody. This campaign is for everybody, literally.
Yes.
To be aware, to take the tests, just to be there. And even if you have somebody in your family, just understand how you want to treat that person, how you want to talk to her or him at this point as well. So, I mean, are we like a long way from actually having a full awareness, or do you think we're in a better place today than we were years ago? We
are definitely in a better place, and this is documented by actually the higher rates of breast cancer that we are registering among the GCC countries. So we pride ourselves of having the very first cancer registrar
Wow.
in the GCC.
Amazing.
So Bahrain started the lead of doing campaigns for breast cancer awareness, and therefore our rates are slightly higher than the rest of the GCC. We have about 37.8% of breast cancer among all other cancers in the country.
Okay.
Having said that, we also have noticed that the cases that we are now diagnosing are not anymore in the late stages. They are in the early stages.
Okay, amazing.
So that means that we're doing well in the breast cancer awareness campaign.
All right.
Yet we would like to continue the legacy, continue to encourage everybody to come up for screening, because all women have a risk of developing breast cancer in a lifetime, including myself. Every woman does have a slight risk of developing breast cancer. Some are higher than others, depending on the risk factors. Obesity as well is one of them. Obesity can lead to breast cancer as well, or can put you at a higher risk of developing breast cancer.
Okay.
Late pregnancy. So a woman who had her first child at an age below the age of 30 would be less likely to develop breast cancer than a woman who had her first pregnancy at an age above 30. So nowadays, with women more in the workforce, delaying marriages, delaying pregnancy, can as well negatively affect their health. They need to attend to that. Because breasts were made for breastfeeding and lactation. And when that thing gets delayed, because you're busy with your life or your studies or your work, then your body does suffer from the consequences at the long run. So your risk becomes slightly higher.
That is really interesting.
We encourage women to get married at an earlier age.
Before 30, you know?
To have their first child before 30, yes.
Not me, Dr. Sarah.
Yes, I'm saying that.
Definitely. Well, now, how can we help you more? I mean, we would love, everybody should help this, definitely. I mean, the amount of information that I'm getting right now alone in this 10 minutes is just mind-blowing. But how can we help you even more?
I think I give it to Bahrain TV, whether the Arabic channel or the English channel, they always host in October, they always host such programs to talk about the subject. And this is important to enlighten the public about the disease and to increase the awareness. One of the things we're launching this year is the QR code. Where we came up with that idea because before we had like a mobile unit, like a bus that goes around into cities and villages in Bahrain and try to offer women breast cancer screening at their doorstep. However, due to COVID and the situation now with we don't want a lot of people gathering up, so and in line with the social distancing measures, we have created a QR code that any woman can just take a shot of or to screen it, and then she can get booked for an appointment immediately at the center. So that really is offered, one of the things we can do. And again, this was with the support of the capital government, and big thanks to Sheikh Hisham bin Abdurrahman Al Khalifa, who is the governor of the capital government of Bahrain.
And big thanks to you and your amazing team for making this happen. Every year we come and we have you on this show. We just get blown away with the achievements and the creative ideas, yet how much you really care about the scene and you just want to make it better.
True.
Any last words to your viewers here?
I would recommend for every woman above the age of 40 not to forget her breast check. So please, if you haven't checked throughout the year, please remember this year, it is your time. Do not forget to have your mammogram if you haven't done it within a year time.
Well, thank you so much for being with us here on Bahrain Now. It's been a great pleasure.
Thank you so much for inviting me. See you next year.
Definitely, definitely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, early detection is a great prevention for the breast cancer. So ladies and gentlemen, pretty much with us here was Dr. Sarah Raifi talking to us about the breast cancer here in the month of October. Ladies and gentlemen, as we continue to spread the awareness on breast cancer, We're honored to welcome tonight the CEO of Think Pink, Julie Francis Sparkle, and Razan Al Khatib. Well, good evening.
Good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, definitely. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. So, I've been struggling a bit with finding the right words to say thank you. You've been working super hard.
Yeah, thank you.
You made a difference, definitely. And it's a lot been going on. And I can only feel the pressure, the challenge, but yet the excitement and how much you've been pretty much contributing to the community. For those who don't know Think Pink, please, if you don't mind.
Think Pink was founded by myself in 2004. We worked under the umbrella of the Bahrain Cancer Society for almost 3 years until we became our own standalone only breast cancer NGO in the island. So we've been campaigning for 18 years.
Wow.
Mostly through the month of October, but we have some fantastic NGOs on the island. So we, go undercover in some respects throughout the year, and we pop up the end of September and do our campaigns in line with International Breast Cancer Awareness Month. But the best person to talk about what the charity means is Razan.
Well, Razan?
So the charity, basically, to me it means a lot. I've been involved with them since med school.
Wow.
Currently I'm a doctor and I've graduated and I'm about to be a consultant soon.
Amazing.
So it's been a while. I've been involved into many, let's say, NGO societies around, but the only organization that I really felt connected to was Think Pink. It's not just about the idea behind it or how the dynamic it is, but when you have a vision, when you have a goal, or when you have an aim, you want to reach out is seeking your own community and try to deliver the help that they need. So it's more than raising awareness by itself.
Right.
It's understanding what awareness at itself, first of all, and then getting volunteers. And not only just getting volunteers, you will learn about the process of volunteering and why you would start volunteering at the beginning. Anyways, it was like a personal change for me. I feel that I grew, and it was an important part of my development.
All right.
So that's why I decided to, even after graduating and not being in Bahrain as much.
Wow, so you've been pretty busy, right?
Yeah, life, work, etc. But I tried my best to manage to still be part of it as much as I could. And I guess is where I am at the moment. Like my goals are different, and how we can add to this charity and how we can improve it.
Definitely. No, that's a really great story, to be honest with you. In the midst of all of this, the studies and going back and forth, but you still want to make sure you be part of this community. So there's a lot going on here.
Yeah, it has a big, it's a big impact into my personal growth and career-wise as well. Like I can see the things that I've got from this organization, working with Julie and the rest of the board member, how they were like supporting me since day one, endlessly.
Beautiful.
Yeah, she picked me out of nowhere. She believed in me, and she started to push me further.
And that's what we really appreciate it. We really appreciate the fact that right now you're building, I would say, a little army, a beautiful team, as you want to give back to the community. You had a run going on in the beginning when you started the story itself of how the society came together, but now you're putting back to the society as you pretty much, I would say, grooming together a beautiful team like Razan.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm a nurse by trade, clinical nurse specialist. I didn't know anything about event management and things like that. So a one-off event in 2004 raised 10,500 dinar.
Amazing.
And then the community pushed us to go further. And we're more than just, a group of girls and men. We have 3 men on the board now. A group of people where I believe we're a force to be reckoned with. We find gaps, we find needs, And you know, I'm Bahraini on the inside. I've been here a long time. My children are Bahraini. I'm very proud to be here, and so I want to be a change agent for the community that I live in.
Beautiful.
So, and people like Razan and people like the board and the volunteers, they only drive it further with what they're good at. And we all work full time. We all have full-time jobs with families or no families, but we don't take a wage from anything that we do. So we've raised over 3.5 million US dollars in the time.
Wow. You say you're proud of being Bahraini, but I think Bahrain is proud of you.
This is my home. This is where my hat is.
Bahraini,
Yeah,
love that.
absolutely.
Amazing,
Yeah.
amazing. So what's happening this year, this month of October, as an initiative by the society itself?
So this October, the awareness that we usually do every year, campaigns, and also the
We have a D for D,
D for D,
D for D campaign. Our last big campaign was in 2007, which
Right.
was the largest community engagement initiative,
Amazing.
which saw 20 centimetre pieces of ribbon
Wow.
tied into one length
Wow.
that went round twice the lap of BIC, Bahrain International Circus,
Unbelievable.
and tallied 13 kilometres for a world record. So we've used COVID to regroup, and we're
Okay.
doing a dinner for distance. It came about after being in hotel quarantine in Australia. I was, my father passed away in July, but I was in a hotel room 6 by 7 metres and thought,
Wow.
mental health wise, we've all been in this situation,
Yes.
COVID restricted.
Yes.
I walked 42 kilometres in a hotel room dancing to MTV.
Wow.
I did 35 minutes a day listening to music, and I realised there's our campaign.
Wow.
So we're going to be moving, whether cycling, skipping, jogging, swimming, and you pledge, like you pledge to do your breast awareness via our mobile app, which is free. I'll pledge to do a distance, and we'll see how far the community will go for pink this year.
Oh, we're going to go far this time.
Inshallah.
Further.
Yeah.
Inshallah, definitely.
This is for October, but I wanted to add to that. So
Yes.
initiatives we're continuously been working on since through all the year.
imagine.
Yeah. So like as part of the pillars of Think Pink is education and research, and yeah. So basically by the research, we were. I can say that I've been proud of Think Pink for establishing the first national Bahraini guidelines.
Oh, look at that. Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It doesn't look that.
Yeah.
Well, but I'm just talking about
what's inside.
thought itself. The
So-
effort, the effort and all that just to collect all this information. That's a beautiful thing.
So
It's phenomenal.
basically, this is a guideline for breast cancer diagnosis in a national base, which is Bahrain. So like Think Pink, we've been working, especially Julie, that she started from the beginning into finding out how to establish or build an algorithm or a guideline,
Wow.
and where a patient can use or can get the right track in order to get diagnosed in the right time, or what to do. And we always get this question, okay, I have something, I have what to do,
Right.
what's next?
So it's a
Right.
pathway.
It's a pathway.
Amazing. Like I
But
say.
it's written at a research level based on research, but it is built
Okay.
within our mobile application.
All right.
So it's not going to, it doesn't stay on the shelf. It was
Sure.
a gift given to the Supreme Council, His Excellency Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdullah Al Khalifa, and Dr. Mariam from the CEO of
Right.
NHRA, and aspects of those pathways and the decision aids, which are harms and benefits for different treatments, mammography and things like that,
Wow.
means that the patient in Arabic and in English
And also
understand their path.
Yeah, and it's also in simple words where people can understand, which was hard to find, but easy to get at least.
This is amazing. I mean, this is a phenomenal work taking place right here. I mean, not only is creative, but the approach itself, I can only imagine the amount of time and hours you've been putting into this
I did my
research.
professorship based on
Yeah.
this thing because I was already doing the work, but we always look at gaps. So
Right.
I'm not too sure if your viewers are aware that we raised $500,000 dinar for a digital MRI,
Amazing.
which is based in Salmania Medical
Yeah.
Complex.
Wow.
And based on that, after we needed another project. So we did systematic reviews and looked at gap analysis of research and found 3 things that Bahrain needs to tackle. The hardest one being a guideline.
Guideline,
Yeah.
right?
And so as a board, we decided to do the guideline. So we were supported by everyone across the healthcare spectrum, a multidisciplinary team, movers and shakers in their industry of physiotherapy, nutrition, and
And
we've been
Laura as
peer
well.
reviewed, internationally endorsed by EBSCO, Royal College of Physicians,
Yeah,
the top 10% download for Wiley Research. Really impactful
thankfully, yeah,
things.
we were blessed by
Yes.
them, which is it meant a lot actually.
This is a stepping stone, like
Yeah.
definitely.
But it's accessible because our free mobile app, which is on both stores in Arabic
Okay.
and English, takes you through what you need to look for, but it also has the decision aids inbuilt within the app. So it's very exciting.
Wow. How long it took you to put it together? Like
2
approximately
years.
2 years of hard work.
Yeah,
And
Wow.
a great team, inclusive team. You can't do it by yourself.
Definitely.
So inclusive.
Definitely.
We've got such incredible doctors and nurses and physios
Can
in Bahrain,
imagine.
and this is the community art. That this is their work. We were
is.
just the catalyst. We were the people that drove it, and yeah, it's a really cool document.
I want to have a moment with the audience right here, right now. Ladies and gentlemen, 2 years of hard work. We're not talking about any kind of research. Like this is like space technology right now, right here. All in this book right now, a guideline. We need to support this cause in any way possible. We need to go there and give it all we got, even a share, a like, financial donations. Talk about it because this is just phenomenal, out of this world, definitely. And it took place right here in Bahrain.
Yes, absolutely,
Thank
absolutely.
you.
Yeah.
Seriously, thank you. How can we help? Besides the awareness.
so the word awareness, I was telling Julie that I think people don't understand exactly what do you need from what's the meaning of awareness, or what's the importance of awareness. So awareness basically is a fundamental or like an important ingredient for belief, and in order to reach out to people and or your community and try to allow them to have an insight about their beliefs, whether they were good or bad. And this after this is you will be able to reach out to your community, or your community will be more knowledgeable about the cause itself or about our beliefs, which is breast cancer. And then after that, they will get the right direction or where to go exactly. So after that, this took us many years until like we knew how to raise awareness the right way and get the right volunteers who would work in a selfless way, not asking for anything, and they would be more proactive, and they know this would help to raise awareness, and that the end result will be giving back to your community.
Giving back to the community.
So after all of this, and since we knew that people now had the idea about what breast cancer and the awareness about it, the systemic review also that's been working on for so many years. I think it's still ongoing, and as an end result, we knew that the gap that we needed,
Right.
yeah, in our community was basically one of it was to have a right pathway or the right algorithm in order to be diagnosed.
Wow. Wow. I mean, unfortunately, I don't think I'm smart enough to understand exactly
Absolutely.
what happened behind the scenes, but at least I can appreciate
Yeah,
the amazing
absolutely.
work.
I think the awareness has changed from 2002. I arrived. I think Seafmore was one of the biggest buildings in that area.
Yeah,
And
actually,
now
going
we
back a
have-
bit, yes.
Yeah, now we have lights on for pink. And now we're having a conversation about breast cancer. For the first awareness campaigns in schools like Sheikh Hessa School, all those many moons ago, these women are change agents, whether or not they're in CEOs or general managers or whatever they're doing, they're educating their kids. Think pink is something that falls off their tongue quite naturally.
Yes.
So we've broken the taboo in that way. It is not an international franchise or organization. This term was coined here by myself in 2003.
Wow.
In 2004 we were established. So that's something for Bahrain to be proud of. Breast cancer comes around throughout the year. You'd think that only breast cancer was diagnosed in October sometimes with the hype.
Yes, with, yeah, the media hype.
Yeah, and that's hence the reason why the mobile application is a valuable tool, because you need to be doing your self-checks yourself, knowing what your normal is for you every month. And men get breast cancer as well.
I got to learn about that just a few moments ago, and I
Yes.
was like, what?
Yes.
I mean, not to segregate or anything here, but the fact is that with certain practices, you know, and genetics and the background, it is very possible now.
We have a research with a fantastic researcher such as Fatima and Dr. Michael Keogh from RCSI. Fatima first published about a year and a half ago based on research she's done about a variant, a genetic variant. You might hear about BRCA1 and BRCA2.
Yes.
It is a small population, but there is a variant within the GCC community, which is specific for the region.
Wow.
So we're pushing her to continue and try and do her PhD based on this research, and it will be a game changer in terms of screening. It will mean that instead of waiting for that certain time to find out if you have this genetic composition, that we'll be able to catch you beforehand.
That's a documentary waiting to be made right there.
We have an award-winning documentary.
I'm sure
actually.
you do.
We were awarded by an incredible filmmaker, Mahmoud Al Yusuf.
Wow.
We won the Scientific and Educational Award at the London Film Festival, Fusion Film Festival in
Amazing.
February 2020. You can find it on our YouTube channel, and
Wow.
it has all the people that have collaborated through this and all the things that we've done. I think that's important for the viewers to see. We have had and have very impactful vision,
Yes, you do.
and we follow through.
Well, Razan and Julie, thank you so much. This has been an eye-opener and very exciting talk, to be honest, just to understand what's been going on behind the scenes and what is being done even on the scene itself. And I can only imagine what the future is going to be like with Think Pink. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Bahrain and the world is proud of you.
Thank you very much.
It's
Thank
a
you.
pleasure. It's a pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot stress enough how much we really need to support Think Pink as we took place right here in an interview on Bahrain Now. Ladies and gentlemen, a piece of cake is always a good idea, especially when it's a part of a birthday celebration, a wedding ceremony, and more stuff going on as well. No celebration is ever complete without a cake. I should know. We are joined by Chef Sarah Hijris from A Piece of Cake. Well, good evening, Chef Sarah.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. So I know there's a beautiful story behind A Piece of Cake. A little bit, if you don't mind.
Sure. Well, I mean, my mom started the bakery 28 years ago now. We're
Wow.
celebrating 28 years of business.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So we've been really blessed. We, of course, never imagined in our wildest dreams that, you know, we would take it to where it is. And, you know, my mom was baking from home in the beginning, and she was always making our birthday cakes and stuff. So, you know, it was just one of those things where my dad just turned around one day and said, why don't you just open a shop?
You're that good.
Yeah, and he was tired of seeing the kitchen in a mess. So
I want to just have a cheese sandwich for a change.
without the sugar or the flour. You know, it wasn't something obviously she was planning, but you know, it happened the way it did, and you know, she hasn't looked back. She's now retired, so I took over the business a few years ago now.
Amazing.
So I basically just carrying forward what she started, and just, you know, just baking to my heart's content.
Beautiful.
So it's a very personal story for us because it's a family-owned business. I love what I do. I couldn't imagine being anything else but a chef, to be honest. It was a lifelong dream, and so, you know, I'm very proud to see what the bakery is creating, you know, 28 years later, and being part of it as well.
Wow.
So it's really important for us.
As you were talking right now, I'm just seeing somebody writing a script, a movie about you. It's like, we're gonna pitch this very soon. You know, we're gonna have auditions. You're gonna be pretty much picking your character, unless you want to be acting as you.
No, I think I'll leave the acting to somebody else. I'm good. I'm good.
All right, great. So, cake is your passion.
Cake and for me, because I grew up with the bakery, I was so used to the baking side of things, and I was baking from a very young age. I did a summer job for my mum. I was 13 years old, so, you know,
Wow.
I got into the business quite early on, and you know, just carried it from there. And later on, you know, late teens, early 20s, I started having this passion for wanting to cook and you know, to really take it to the next level.
Okay.
So which is why I wanted to be a chef, and I wanted to do the training and everything like that. So it was a very personal journey, very difficult journey. And you know, when people deny you of your dreams and what you want to achieve
Right.
in life, because as you know, I have a disability. So it was achieving that goal with having a physical disability that was the difficult part. But I could not imagine myself doing anything different. You know, it was pulling me towards towards it. So for me, it was such a personal journey that I wanted to make sure that I got to where I wanted to be, and I'm very happy to say that I'm where I want to be. So yeah.
Thank you for taking that journey. Thank you for
It's,
making a lot of people happy today with your delicious bakes.
Well, I always say it's my job to make people fat, so
And happy.
I'm happy as well. So I enjoy that part of the job, and I enjoy when people tell me that, you know, they enjoy what we create and stuff like that. So for me, it's worth it in the end. That's for me, it's everything. So yeah.
Amazing. So part of your work is creating this beautiful cake, and
Yep.
we got these cookies that we're going on here. So what's happening?
So basically, October being, you know, Breast Cancer Awareness Month,
Yes.
so I thought it would be, you know, the right thing to do is to show how we decorate our cakes. You know, we customize our designs to whatever the client wants. You know, birthday cakes, wedding cakes, any celebratory cakes at all. So, you know, for this specific time, this was the design that I chose for the cake to present today for you, and also with the pink ribbon cookies.
Yes.
So yeah, those are sugar cookies, and each one of them has a different word on them. Things like hope, faith, love, you know, courage. So all in keeping with the Think Pink.
Wow. Wow. An amazing journey,
Thank you.
an amazing cause. So now, do you feel that you achieved what you wanted to do, or is there more coming up with Sara Hijra's journey in the world of bakery?
How long have you got? There's a lot being planned. You know, because of COVID, we got delayed in a lot of our plans.
Right.
And so 2 years ago, obviously, when COVID hit, we were hit hard as well as everyone was. But it was a mission for me to find a location, a new location, where I could have a full operating coffee shop.
Okay.
You know, breakfast and lunch.
Right.
But that was the plan, and you know, we closed our Badea branch. We still have the original shop in Rafah, so I'm very lucky in that respect. But the plan was to open up a proper coffee shop. But you know, because of COVID,
Okay.
because of COVID,
Right.
we didn't want to didn't want to risk the fact of adding to the expenses. We
Right.
wanted to just hold off a little bit, see where this takes us, and things are working for us, and we still have the business, we still have the cakes going out, we have the catering, the food, everything like that. I literally have, I'm not even exaggerating, thrown out the menu out of the window, and I'm doing anything and everything. So if people want special meals, I'll do special meals. One particular thing I started when COVID hit was the Sunday roasts, which is very British.
What is a Sunday roast?
Sunday roast is, you roast beef, you Yorkshire puddings, you roast potatoes, your veg, and
I need some of those. Is it still on?
it's gonna continue until whenever. I mean, I came up with all these ideas just to keep the business afloat.
Okay.
And for me, it took off, and it's been received really well. So I'm really lucky in that respect, and I'm just grateful that we have a lot of clientele who are both from the local community and the expats that just happen to love a good Sunday roast. And we're also very popular for our afternoon teas, I have to say.
Okay.
Afternoon teas are definitely one of the best sellers. But this is the carrot cake, and that's what we're famous
Carrot
for.
cake.
I had to do the carrot cake for you today because it's been our bestseller since we actually started the bakery.
Thank you.
So yeah, I just wanted you guys to
We're gonna love it.
indulge.
We're gonna love it. We're gonna indulge in this beauty, sweetery of an adventure and a good cause, definitely over there. I can definitely tell we can have our own podcast, for hours to talk about this. There's a lot of beautiful things happening here, but unfortunately,
Not
please leave us with your
Sure.
last few words, if you don't mind.
Well, as I said, being able to live the dream that came true for me to be a chef, I'd like to pass on the message to other people who have difficulties in life, whether it be physical or mental. There is a way around things, and they can achieve their dreams and their goals. It's just they have to believe in themselves, and they have to just fight for it. So for me, it's an inspirational side of things. I want to inspire people to, get to where they want to be,
Right.
regardless of what people say around you and the negativity and stuff like that. So for me, it's a personal journey, and that's why I wanted to share it with you.
Well, Sara, thank you so much for following your dreams,
Thank you.
beating up all the challenges, and being with us here today to tell us about your beautiful
It's an
story.
absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me.
It's
I really
an honor.
appreciate it.
Definitely. Thank you so much for being with us right here on
You're welcome.
Bahrain Now.
Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, a beautiful story behind that piece and a piece of cake. All that took place with Sara Hijris right here on Bahrain Now. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap for another great episode of Bahrain Now. As usual, be sure to reach out to us on our social media accounts shown below. And stay tuned for more exciting segments on Bahrain Now. This was Bara Abdallah. Till next time, Bahrain, good night and God bless.